Today is a very joyful day, isn't it? I don't know how Maynard and Joanna feels. I'm sure they're joyful, but maybe a little bit nervous also. Correct? Because they are embarking on a big thing. And it's natural to be a little bit nervous. When I was ordained as a priest, I was also a little bit nervous. But more than that, there's that great joy that each one feels for them. Really, this is the joy beyond all the cleanings that we see, the nice flowers, the nice attires that we all have. There is that joy because we are really, in a way, sending them to their happiness. Right? We are sending them off to their happiness. Basically, we are sending them off to their holiness. Why do I say holiness? Now, you think about marriage, and I'm addressing you now, Maynard and Joanna. Marriage is a vocation. And I know I travel around the country sometimes to promote vocations to religious life in the priesthood. And in fact, it's the first vocation that God created. As we heard in the first reading, God saw that man was lonely. And so what did God do? He fashioned a woman after him, so that he will never be lonely again. And that is marriage. Before we offered priesthood, he already offered marriage. So the first vocation is marriage. Now, the thing about vocation, it is your happiness. So we have to choose a vocation. Each one of us has a vocation in life because it is the expression of our happiness, the expression of our holiness. And that is really where we find God in our own vocations. So what I said earlier is that basically we are sending them off to their holiness and happiness because we're thinking about their vocation. Now, this happiness, of course, will unfold. Okay, you are very joyful now, but these joys will continue to unfold. Now, we know that marriage is not all happy, to use the word casually. But marriage should be a time for joy. Now, what is joy? We all experience joy even in the midst of suffering, isn't it? Because if we found our true vocation, then we are living the destiny that God has planned for each one of us. And for you, Maynard and Joanna, the plan for you is to be married together and live a joyful life. And in that joyful life, become holy. Each one of you is asked to be holy. Because if you think about it, holiness is really happiness. And the other word for that is beatitude. Beatitude is happiness. No? Happiness when we go to heaven. And that's what we seek in life. Each one of us is looking for that happiness. And we can only find it when we express, when we choose our vocation. And we have chosen well. Now, like I said, marriage is not all happy. Later on, you will find that it is difficult. Later on, you will find that there's a lot of sacrifices you have to make. But in those things that you do, you are growing in holiness. It is in marriage where you will grow in virtues. It is in marriage where you will grow in patience. It is in marriage that you will grow in love. Now, sometimes we think that when a man and a woman meets, that's really when they are in love the most. Isn't it? I remember I entered the seminary one day and I found this couple sitting on the sofa. And I said, oh, they're so romantic. And unbeknownst to me, so I went up the stairs and then I realized, I think I know those people. And when I came down, it was Joanna and Maynard waiting for me to talk to me. And they were so romantic. You see the romance going on between them because they are so in love. Now, what happens when the couple has been together for a long time? People say that they're no longer in love, or the love has faded. That is the wrong way of looking at marriage. The right way of looking at marriage is that we should grow in love more and more with its passing day. And that's what we are love. And let me talk about what that love consists. Really, that love is basically commitment, isn't it? When you begin to see some of the deficiencies and weaknesses of your spouse, then what do? You will separate? No. You will love him and you will love her more and more because you are committed to that person. What is commitment? Really, seeing through to the finish all our duties and responsibilities. And when we choose a wife, Maynard and Joanna, when you choose a husband, you will see it through until the very end of your lives because you are committed to each other. Now, I speak about holiness because you know how we are. As human beings, we say that familiarity breeds disrespect. And the more we know the person, the more we dislike the person if we see all these deficiencies. Now, the reason why holiness is important in marriage so that we see each other grow, and when we see that the person is growing in virtues, in wisdom, in patience, and all the things that we are supposed to have, that we are supposed to grow in, then of course we love the person more and more. The reason why some marriages are not successful is because the husband or the wife are not growing in holiness. That's why whenever I celebrate marriage, I always tell the couple, whenever you get married, there's always 3 persons who are getting married. Not just 2, but 3. And you know what I mean. The third person, actually the first person, is Jesus Christ Himself, the author of marriage. And that's what commitment is about. Commitment is not looking at other alternatives. When the going gets tough, what do the tough do? When the going gets tough, have you heard that saying? The tough gets going. Sometimes you see, oh, I'm suffering. There's something going on, a lot of difficulties in my family, especially when you're having children. And of course, sometimes you feel sad about it. Sometimes you might bolt and find another one. No. The more you have to commit to the person that you love, the more you have to grow and be an example to the other person. Because you two have been made one by the sacrament of marriage. So, there is commitment and holiness. 2 things that's needed in marriage. And the third thing is really what we call sacrifice. There is no successful marriage if there is no sacrifice. There is no love in the first place if there is no sacrifice. Your parents could attest to that, right? Because they have made sacrifices for you to raise you, get you a college degree, and now see you through and start a new life together. And not just that. I remember my parents who was married because my father passed away last year. They were together for 58 years. It's not that they did not fight. It's not that I did not hear them fighting or arguing. What made them go through all these periods is because of their commitment to each other and commitment to Christ.